For some more action here on stream 2, we have got next up EG versus LGD, and as you can see the draft has started. I'm ODPixel and I'm here with a very special man, Scant. This is his premiere here at this big tier LAN, top tier LAN, and now he's here on the casting desk switching it up. He's been on the analyst this morning. How's it been going, Scant?
It's my, well, the analyst desk has been alright.
Yeah.
It is my first time casting at the LAN, it's my first time casting at any LAN, and it's my first time casting with you as well.
Here we go, and what a game to do it. EG versus LGD. Already we were talking about this, the opening bans here for the side of LGD with the opening picks from the side of EG last game. They were looking at that. Zeus as well, something that LGD's been running today. They don't want any of that. Also interested in the Spirit Breaker ban. EG taking that away from the side of LGD, so maybe something that ROTK was going to pick up for himself. And the picks so far, Earth Spirit gets through, Darkseer gets through, and then EG with the Venge, and then Nature's Prophet second pick. Scam. What's up with that?
Well, actually first pick Venge, first game of the tournament, EG played against Na'Vi, and it turned out to be an RTZ Venge, and I don't think anyone really saw that coming. So that's a possibility, especially if you pick up the Nature's Prophet afterwards. I think every team is kind of conscious about not being too greedy. Everyone wants to have some push element, maybe some late game, and so because they got the Nature's Prophet for Universe here, maybe we see another RTZ Venge actually. As for LGD's draft, getting that first pick Earth Spirits, I feel like it seems like the Chinese teams all think that Earth Spirits is completely broken and like shouldn't be allowed, and they're basically all going for it first pick when they can. So EG would have known that, and we'll have some kind of plan for like we don't mind. You can just have Earth Spirits. Yeah,
I mean, I think it was against Team Spirit where MMY was playing the Earth Spirit, and it was pretty ridiculous. This man was, I've obviously seen a lot of people have seen a lot of Jax's performance, and MMY was looking to step it up to a similar level. He was very, very scary on the man. Also, the same game was the game where they ran Silo on the Terrorblade. So EG again, maybe checking back on that. LGD, one of the stronger Chinese sides to be able to use the Terrorblade, and Silo had an absolute game on it earlier. And EG banning out some more of these kind of harder later heroes, and the Spectre as well. And a lot of people have been talking about Spectre recently, saying that this is a hero that could really kind of rise up through the ranks and be that top tier carry at this patch.
Yeah, it's also very, very good against Nature's Prophet. I want to say you're trying to split push as you TP to a lane, you get haunted on, and that's it for you. Done. So there isn't really that much an option for them to leave it in for me there. I mean, every match of this tournament that I've watched so far, and most of this patch actually, I'm trying to figure out during the draft. Both teams are usually going to have some element of push, but one of them is going to be slightly more late game than the other one. And I'm trying to figure out like which one is going there for now, because EG have the Venge. I feel like they're more of the pressure team. But these are actually two teams, EG and LGD, who like historically they actually both prefer to win the late game, and they've been playing against teams that push and like reacting to them. And so it's a different dynamic when they're against each other. It's not guaranteed that either team's going to go that heavy on the push. Maybe they'll just let the game go later because they're both very confident in late game.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of in the two games that we just did here on this channel. We did EG versus Spirit and LGD versus Spirit. And Spirit, if you've watched the qualifiers, these are the kind of guys, they want to push, they want to fight, they want to go early. And EG and LGD just had the answer. They just took it late. They had the strong push themselves and used it against them. EG continue to bring out the new stuff. They're going to bring us the Oracle here with this third pick, and we haven't got to see any Oracle here on this stream. Was there any Oracle on the main stream?
Yeah, we saw one Oracle, I think. Okay. It was Na'Vi against Fnatic, and they ended up losing with it, but it was a really good pick there because it kind of hard counters Darkseer and Ember Spirit.
Yeah, and it's great against
Speaking of Darkseer, he's here again, and this just sends ROTK to the jungle pretty much, I think. It's like...
It's that strong in lane.
You can't, I mean...
And bam, everything gets played.
As long as the safe lane is also strong. So in that game, actually Ohio's Darkseer didn't go to the jungle because Na'Vi ran like a safe lane Nature's Prophet there with the Oracle, and so he just stayed and soaked some XP. But if it was like a RTZ Venge with the Oracle, then I think Darkseer's just going to the jungle straight away. Or feeding.
Yes, yeah, you've got to make that decision here as the Darkseer this game. And LGD, another one that they normally do like to pick up for DDC. They get themselves the Witch Doctor. I guess a hero that's going to be kind of nice against the push that's already going to be coming out from the Venge and MP, and also something that's going to allow you to get a bit of push on yourself. But it doesn't really expose too much what LGD's picks are going to be here for Maybe and Salah, because there's still a fair few options open.
Yeah, funny thing though, Witch Doctor, we said that EG are banning all the heroes that LGD picked in like the last game, and Witch Doctor's one that they didn't take out, so LGD's like, okay, fine.
Well, we'll still, if you're going to let's have that, and okay. We kind of forgot about the fourth pick now. We're seeing DP get through. Now, another series, this won't happen because he gets banned out first, he gets picked first. EG are kind of like, well, okay, if you're leaving it here to the fourth pick, they'll take it. I mean, is there a reason you think why LGD hasn't touched upon this hero so far? They're not scared of it?
These teams are kind of playing chicken against each other. It's the dynamic I was talking about before, where like they know that they both like late game. And so even though the tournament meta is, I think, mostly teams are pushing and they're reacting, think both of these teams position themselves as if they're the team that goes late game and isn't forcing the push, maybe they're in a better position. And so eventually EG are like, okay, you know what, we're just going to push. And that's what the DP pick does. Surely, I think even more so now that Venge is very likely to be Arteezy's hero, we'll probably see a support coming out for EG's last pick. And that's going to position the game such that, I don't know, if you go back far enough, there were a couple games, I think at TI4, where the Deathball meta came out where EG tried some of the pushes of their own, usually with Dragon Knights, Abaddon, those kind of heroes. But it's not a team we associate with pushing, but it's also they're the team that's been practicing for the longest before this LAN. They got you like a week early. They've done a lot of scrims. So if they've perfected pushing with DP, I mean, yeah.
The combos there as well, obviously DP and Oracle. Yeah. Exorcism and False Promise at the end, yeah, bam. And instant full health.
Even the Fate's Edict. The Fate's Edict, because DP is not a right-clicking hero. So
absolutely, and especially when you're against a team like LGD, where you've got all the magic basically at the moment, and even more so now with Lina. I guess Lina's been. This is going to be a maybe Lina. Lina, we can obviously imagine, maybe one of the answers to the DP in the mid lane, and LGD as well with that final ban. Really respecting the fact that EG have been, playing with the Omni Knight there already this LAN. So taking that away, something else that could have been there to just buff the DP in, send her in on the front lines, and allow her to just sit there with the ultimate on. So.
Yeah, and EG with the last ban on Anti-Mage, kind of just respecting the fact that that was how Fnatic beat Navi earlier. Okay. It was just like last pick Anti-Mage, even though you're doing all this push thing, Anti-Mage, Mushy got to what he needed to and then splits against them. But yeah, last pick Ogre, I don't know. The one thing I want to say about Ogre is that Aetherlands, it's just like, I mean, I don't know if he gets the gold for it, but there was a stage where Ogre was the best hero in Dota, like uncontroversially, and the nerfs to Ogre were basically they took away an Aetherlands, and if you buy the item, because they nerfed the spell damage and they nerfed the range. So, I mean, this hero, if you do get that item, is suddenly like.
Yeah, and well, so far as well, there's a fair few heroes that are going to be easy to blow up if you do get the multicast. And LGD with his final, I mean, Sylar's heroes. What is left in the pool there for Sylar? What do you think he's thinking about?
Well, this is their game-winning hero, right? Because LGD, like, if we look where the drafts match up, this is kind of like we're going to weather the storm. They're not going to beat us with a push, and then because we have this hero, we're going to win.
Yeah.
At the same time, it can't really be a useless hero. I mean, I don't know. Difficult to say because LGD's been picking Morphling, and I feel like that's a hero that does nothing against the push early on, and they've been winning with it. Yeah. But I feel like here they're under too much pressure. It would be too risky. Like they want a hero that does something early, but also kind of guarantees the late game. And I'm actually thinking maybe the Ember Spirit. Although Ember Spirit doesn't lane very well against DP.
And they do go the Morphling, like you mentioned.
Honestly, this hero, like, I crossed the tournament with Gods, I think it was the Radiant Dire Cup, where every Chinese team tried to pick Morphling, and they all lost except LGD. It's like, there's something, Sylar Morphling, he can win.
We saw he played it this morning against Fnatic, and yeah, he had a great game. It's obviously quite one of his most comfortable heroes, but as you said, looking at the heroes that EG have, there's some things you feel that you need to be scared of being a Morphling in this game.
I mean, like the biggest problem for Morphling is not that Morphling's scared about dying; it's that Morphling doesn't become relevant for a while. And this hero got buffed quite hugely. It's even harder to kill now. But push strategies can just push you and ignore your Morphling, and so the dynamic becomes like very much about
prepare for battle.
Do EG get that timing? Do they like win the game before the Morphling matters? Because Morphling definitely, if you look at EG's draft, Morphling gets super farmed. I think it is a hero that actually dominates the game and probably wins the game for LGD. So that's that timer. It's the pressure on Sylar. Can LGD stay in the game long enough for him to get a lot of farm?
As you said, a lot of weight on Sylar's shoulders today, but a lot of other situations where he's been able to carry LGD through the latter portions. It's going to be some strong shoulders that they're leaning on the team. And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. So another series here on Stream 2. Obviously, all best of ones here in the group stages. And this is EG versus LGD. It'll be myself, ODPixel, and Scant pulling you through for the action here. And some
they get the
interesting
ward.
Stuff.
DDC finds the ward. Yeah, because their ward was out at first, so they pinged out that the Dire ward got placed, and that's helped their step lane a lot. And this is like, we were talking about offlaners in this well, we're talking about like how difficult it might be for Darks against Oracle, but offlaners in general in this patch have a harder time than they used to before.
Yeah.
It's much harder to get value, and especially if you don't have that ward. It's we were saying Darks is going to go to the jungle. Now we asked the question, like, does Universe consider going to the jungle early on? I don't know.
Let's see how well they can play on this off lane. You said both of them are going to have a fairly difficult time.
The battle begins.
I mean, in terms of overall drafts, you've been on the analyst desk. I'm sure you've been asked this question. Who's got the better draft here? Would you say?
I mean, I feel like. Well, actually, we might see it.
He's, yeah, I mean, he's a tanky brute on the Ogre, but with the body blocks from MMY, he's not tanky enough. He's going to look for the deny. Oh, no. DDC with the final touch. That right click from the Witch Doctor's too strong. First blood for LGD. Fear getting punished in out of position. But yeah, drafts, I mean, what do you prefer?
I think with this dynamic of like usually one team being more into the push and the other one trying to weather the storm, I actually think the push strategies are stronger in this patch, and it's just like there's a possibility of not executing it quite right. So you know, if EG if they play flawlessly, I think that they're the ones who are ahead in the draft. But it's really not hard to make a few mistakes here and then all of a sudden the Morphling's really farmed and the game's out of reach. EG definitely in the opening game against Na'Vi this morning.
Yes.
I felt like they did make a few mistakes there. Na'Vi just made a few more of their own. So I don't know, I didn't watch the following EG game that you guys watched against Spirit. Like, were they making mistakes there? Were they executing really well?
Oh, in that game, EG were pretty flawless there. It was, yeah, very, very strong performance from them.
Yeah, then I'd favor EG in the draft, and I'd say like see if Silo Morphling's got some magic. But it's interesting that EG actually ran Fear the Ogre just in this off lane. That's going to be their response to Nature's Prophet handling the lane. Like, he just doesn't have to handle it on his own.
And already we can see that Silo, he's taking a fair bit of harassment here, so the strength of having the Ogre here is apparent. And RTK, he's just playing with the creep camp here on the side, so keeping himself away from the lane. This is going to give a lot of space for RTC to get that farm on the Vengeful Spirit. Oh, bottom lane, moving in here with the Earth Spirit Universe caught out, and the rotation from MMY resulting in another kill here for LGD. And already MMY starting to make those big plays, and he's been involved in both of the kills so far, and he had an incredibly high kind of kill involvement in the last game when he played the Earth Spirit. So they've got to be really aware of the Earth Spirit. I mean, how do you deal with the Earth Spirit, do you feel?
I mean, usually you deal with the Earth Spirit with, I don't know, silences or... I mean, they do have a silence on DP, so there's that. They've got the Oracle, it can protect people from magic damage if you're worried about the Earth Spirit bursting people down. But I don't know, I mean, the more general question, Earth Spirit is a hero, I'm sympathetic to the Chinese view, which is, it's kind of broken, and maybe you ban it if they want to pick it.
It's your first mistake's letting it through.
Yeah.
Oh, Fear hanging around with this invis, but ooh, they've got a sentry down. Give him a kick, and at the same time, in fact, with Universe, he's TP top, helped out to get a kill onto the Darkseer there. Looks like PPD managed to move in, set it up as Arteezy dived incredibly deep, and okay, EG getting themselves a kill on the board.
Yeah, it's
mid lane, they're rolling. She's got the Spirit Siphon healing her up, but Samael, he's gonna be a goner, and they'll get that one. They may lose a kill up top, but LGD finding something mid. Fear trying to move it onto MMY, won't get it. But Samael is down.
I wonder if ROTK might feed a few more deaths still, because, I mean, he did really well to start stacking the jungle, getting some farm there, but we spoke about it already. The lane he's against, if he goes into the lane, he's very likely going to die, and his team's doing so well everywhere else, it feels like it's maybe unnecessary, like, space to give to EG to give himself up. He could just go stay in the jungle, which is where he's going to now, at least.
Lane Universe going to come back down here, Fear. Just rotating in. Killing Silo in lane is going to be harder, and as you said, one of the heroes that they are going to rely on is this silence from the DP. She starts to turn up, but when they do start to turn up and push, you know, EG, when they've got that power with the exorcism, do you think LGD has what it takes to kind of deal with the 5-man push from EG when it comes around the corner?
Not really. I mean, look, obviously if they get key items on Darkseer, Lina, Witch Doctor and Earthspirit, they have their utility, but the fact of the matter is, no matter which way you look at this game, the Morphling's not going to be ready. Like, it's going to take a crazy good game for LGD, for EG to start pushing, and Morphling's already ready to do things. And so that's the kind of window in the game that I think decides this kind of game, which is the amount of time EG gets to push before Morphling can actually enter the fray. And yeah, obviously, if we have some huge Earth Spirit players or Lina players or something like that, they could buy that time, at which point EG look like they're in a lot of trouble. But I expect that even with these early deaths, EG are very likely to hit their timing window they want. They start grouping up, they start pushing. They'll get some amount, and it'll probably be more a question of like how much do they get before Silo's big, rather than do they get anything.
There's Lane, we're going to see a rolling from MMY, the kickback onto Simel, there'll be the light strike onto 2, but he already got the Spirit Siphon out, getting that region, maybe falling low himself, but the right clicks will fly through, gets the kill on Simel, now he's got to run, he's not going to get himself out, they will finally kill and return, EG 1 for 1, but MMY making it a 2 for 1, now in fact, looking to chase down Universe, he's got the roll forward and he's still got the Iron Shell, no, the Iron Shell's now worn off, and MMY may have gone a bit too deep, PPD's there with the punish, the Fortune's then flies through, Paralyzing Cast bouncing between the two of them, he'll drop the Maledict down, but Universe has got the Fairy Fire, will be alright. Being a 2 for 2 then, a support and a mid for a support and a mid, so fairly even trade there. I don't think anyone's necessarily more happy with that trade, would you say?
I mean, it was looking good for LGD until MMY maybe went a bit too far with that last roll. You know, he's feeling confident. He like the way he's thinking, my hero's overpowered, I'm owning people, let's just keep going.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, but EG will be very happy with that because like they really don't want LGD to be the team that has momentum early on in this game. If we miss the window I was describing earlier, if like EG never push before Morphling has farm, I think the game becomes super difficult.
Absolutely. And one thing we do need to keep tabs on is the fact that Sylar is getting free farm, but so is Artur. It's even at the moment between the Venge and the Morphling. But it's definitely worth noting that at this point EG haven't really put too much attention apart from that initial go onto Sylar, onto the Morphling. But as you said, if they can look for stuff in other lanes, get the push going, and it's just going to be a point, get to the point of the game where the Morphling's forced to attend the fights and he's just not ready, and it can work out anyway for the side of EG. We'll see a smoke up here from MMY maybe. Maybe of course level 6, Laguna Blade is online, so if MMY can close the gap onto someone, be able to delete them from the game. PPD hanging around towards the top rune spot. P coming into the tier 2 here from the dark, so maybe seeing if they can set something up with a surge. And Arteezy looks to be the target for these two. Lena's just returned to the mid lane. We'll see if MMY can find an opening on the Venge. As Artur is on his own. Does need to be careful.
He's pretty tanky, and PPD is not too far away. This could be turned around on them actually if they go for the kill.
Yeah, let's see what PPD can do. The Oracle is here, but the stun's coming through. Light Strike's going to miss. Artur swaps PPD in. He says, take this one for me. He walks off. PPD, the sacrificial lamb there, doing it for Artur. Meanwhile, mid lane, bit of a dive going on. EG moving in onto DDC, and they'll take the kill.
You know what's funny about that one? We were talking earlier on the other on the panel about whether or not Venge is really an Arteezy hero. I saw you saying carry Venge is good for PPD because like he wants to be that guy that gets swapped in to save. He's like, cool, I can die for you. That's like me.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I mean, it's it's always kind of funny to see someone being swapped in for your own life, but obviously in those situations, as you say, it's worth it. MMY takes a Spirit Siphon onto the face. Samel proving that the hero has some issues, and now he's moving in for a second one, and he's going to get it. Double kill, just like that. Suddenly, oh, the Universe Fairy Fire! Not enough, he'll go down. They've got the return though, triple kill for Samel. Welcome to 6.86. Sylar's decided to turn up, gets what back, stunned up. Have they got the burst to deal with him? He's got a lot of mana, so he'll begin to morph to strength, heading up to the high ground. There's a wraparound though. PPD's there with a Fortune's Head, and LGD getting 6.86 the hell up. Ultra kill for Samel, and the game's over.
This, I mean, look like no, but seriously, like, what Sylar comes to the fight. What to achieve? What? I'm not like, you know, this is the thing. When you pick Morphling, you accept that you have a hero that just is not going to do anything that early on. I mean, in his defense, I've seen Sylar make lots of kills in this hero early on, but I feel like when you're against a team of the caliber of EG, like they're going to punish you for having that pick, and he wastes time, doesn't get the farm, and then eventually he just dies anyway after all his teammates died. And I mean, I wouldn't go as far as to say game over, but I think it's like now very, very comfortably where EG want the game to be.
I mean, you talked about LGD wanting to find the momentum, and it's ended up kind of going the other way. EG have just got the momentum at this point. ROTK, oh no, goodbye. ROTK. Caught out there, another kill for EG, 9-7 now at this point.
And the game early on where Arteezy played safe lane Venge was actually against aggressive tri-lane, so he got very little farm, he was shut down a lot. So I'm interested to see how he does with the hero when he's actually farming well, when he's got the momentum on his side, and he knows they're there.
And a swear for terror there from the boy. Yeah, now the man bottom lane as well. Sylar still dancing around with fear. See from the net where top of the board is that man, Samel, on his DP. Starting to build onto the Yule Scepter. He's nearly got enough for the staff, and you're right around the corner, so that's going to be very shortly done.
And Samel is not a player who you just like give an ultra kill, just like give a big lead to.
Yeah, that's the scary thing here for LGD. lot is resting on Sylar. Maybe still, keeping up with the pack. He's just a little bit behind Artur, but there's about 1k between him and Samel. Universe. Again, just trying to make life difficult here for Sylar. Showing them that he's not wanted here in this lane. Fear actually getting a chance to pick up a bit of farm for himself. So I think, as you said, it'll be interesting to see what Fear does do, and if he does indeed disassemble the arcanes down the line and get that ether lens as one of his first items.
Yeah, I mean, the one argument is that you want to keep the arcanes just for your team, but I do feel like down the line, there's a point at which it's got to be the ether lens, and especially because they're giving him this space, this farm. There's actually going to be a sneak into rush here, and this is just from bad to worse if you're LGD, because once the Aegis is up, that's kind of the final ingredient, and pushing a whole lot of unless Sumail's going to get perma-bashed to death, but looks like he's fine.
Looks like they will try and contest it. They're moving over. Maybe MMY could go for the big plays in the Earth Spirit, and there we go with the 3-man stun. The 3-man silence. He rolls in, pushes for the life dragon, gets on 3. Dragon Slave flying through. They've taken 2. They did get Roshan though, the side of EG, and they did get Aegis on DP, but it looks like he might die again. There's going to be a buyback for Nature's Prophet. He's still alive. He's using the Spirit Siphon to keep himself up, and there's the Fate's Edict keeping him in, but they've got the right click. The physical is too much. They're going to lose the Death Prophet here for a second time. Kick forward. He shoots. He scores. PPD caught onto the rock. This is LGD bringing the game back, and they do get themselves the kill onto the Oracle as well.
Did you see, did EG smoke in, or did they just walk in? Because there was an LGD ward, so I'm just like, was that a really good call by LGD to be like, hey, they're rushing, or did they have the information?
I saw Universe TP in when I switched over.
They must have smoked in. I think it's a call. I think LGD just get credits.
On point with the call there.
I didn't catch how like what might have tipped them off, but it was like just a few seconds later, then they missed out completely and getting the timing exactly right. And yeah, as you say, now they're looking not too bad again.
And this is just never going to work. Sylar, he knows how to walk it off, and he TPs that one off. They try and make a jump on him, but they're going to need more than that. They're going to need a lot of multicasting here from the man Fear if he wishes to get that kill. And yeah, okay, so he's going straight for the ether lens. He's got Ring of Health, and as you were predicting.
It's so good. Yeah. It's so good. And you know what? The Ignite already has like ridiculous range because that never got nerfed. So when you have the ether lens, you can just like throw Ignite at people from like totally like 3 screens away or something. Never mind the fact that the Fire Blast is now back to what it was before nerf.
Look at that. Straight across the screen. Wherever you want it, Ignites are going to be. So, I don't know, LGD have definitely bought themselves some more time. I mean, we're still on that same clock. We have to keep looking at Sylar and be like, what items does he have? Is he there yet? When he gets like kind of Lincoln's and one more item, usually the Ethereal Blade, that's when the game turns in his team's favor very clearly. But yeah, they've bought some breathing room, but I still think draft-wise, it's EG who have the pressure. Let's have a look at the net worth, how that's kind of swung around after that fight. And yeah, we can see there was a bit of a lead that EG had. There's now kind of that gap has been closed by LGD.
Dire's middle tower.
Sticking to Universe's bold, not going for the we see Nature's Prophet's buy so often. I mean, maybe it's easy answers that by buying the drum himself, but he's also not rushing the axe. He's going for that Orchid.
Yeah, it's still with the Morphling.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, it's good against Earth Spirit. It's good against Darkseid, but the Morphling is like the one game plan for the enemy team. And maybe even if the game goes late and Morphling gets strong, maybe the EG still have a way to deal with it then.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, against all these heroes, it's going to be very strong. And well, LGD smoking up, looking to fight MMY. Seeing if they find the opening. KG know that the game is up at this point. They know something's going down, and here we have TP's coming through. The stun is going to get whiffed, and now with the multicast magic missile, MMY getting deleted. Now it's LGD that need to get themselves the hell out of there. So Mel getting the ult up here with the exorcism. RTK will drop the ball, but EG continues to chase. RTK maybe the one left behind. He tries to surge himself out. Is it going to work? The stuns fly through. EG will be on top of that. So nice reaction there to LGD trying to go maybe a little too hyper aggressive there with that smoke gang.
Yeah, and EG will almost certainly get the tier 1 for that as well. We saw LGD actually TPing people out, so it's LGD recognizing there's no way to defend the tower, let's try to get value elsewhere, but we're losing a tower. The towers are what EG's strategies are all built around. Like, they want to take down all those towers, they want to give themselves a huge lead before Sylar's online. They threw a bit of the momentum they had at the rush pit, but they're pulling it back up now.
They backed off. Arteezy is actually sticking around. He needs to be a bit careful. His teammates are no longer with him. He'll move himself back at this point. But yeah, LGD, I mean, this, even though they lose that fight and they do lose the tower, this is still a game that, as you said, LGD can certainly bring back and a lot of it does really depend on Sylar's performance.
Well, who's gonna? I mean, we look at who's gonna buy the space for Sylar.
Yeah.
Maybe he's actually the top net worth in the game at the moment. He's got his Yules up on Lina and his phase boots. So, I mean, in previous patches, we'd see that Lina at this point, plus level 11 soon, can just go around making kills. And that's gonna be maybe a focal point for me as well, because I don't think this Lina's here to just like have lots of farm until Morphling gets farm. They want the Lina to be able to get something done. For now, they're just going for the tier 1 in the lane where they lost it, but I'm going to be quite interested to see actually if maybe finds the occasional pick-off across the map.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think he'll go for in his build next after the phase yours? I mean, does he still go for the straight axe? Does he get the ether lens next, do you think?
The ether lens has actually been very popular recently. It's similar to what I said about Ogre. It like undoes a lot of the nerfs. Also just gives that damage. It's really nice to have the extra damage for your Dragon Slave so you can push waves all the time. Also noticed that Fear went back for Arcane Boots.
Yeah, rebuys the Arcanes, so
you still need them for your team, but that's just how good the Ether Lens is. You're only buying it because you had the component. You wanted the item. Jeff, we go back to maybe, I think he might get an Ether Lens of his own. I think that what's more important than which item he buys is he needs to get something done on the map. He's walking around with MMY. They're looking for potential pick-off or at least putting pressure on lanes. And that'll probably be enough for now. I think if you're on the side of EG, you're waiting for... Well, they've got the exorcism already again actually now. And it's level 2, so... What are EG waiting for? When do they go for the next tower? I guess there's no more tier 1s, so they need to feel a little bit more safer, because it's a tier 2, it's that much deeper, and if you commit to that push and lose out, it's a very big loss. It might just be the Orchid on Universe, I think, that they're waiting for.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's very close.
Because then you get one pick off and you go for a tower, and that's, you know...
Yeah, I mean, in that term, you know, when you're going for the pick-off, who do you think they'll be looking on the map to? Who are the easy pickings here for Universe and his mouse stick?
Actually, strangely enough, I think it might at some time be Morphling. It could be Sylar.
Yeah, if you
depending on the position they find him in, get him an Orchid out of fog, like, he could be in a lot of trouble. But it looks like actually EG go for the push in the bot lane. Side, it's fine.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Exorcism up. I'll throw out the stun, but they'll give
Look at that ignite. Oh, he almost threw it. Look at that range!
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Good stuff.
Just saying hello, telling them he's there. And the Ogre's net worth just continues to be ahead of Darkseid's net worth. That's something that EG have done very well as well to manage their resources. As soon as they could, like the Nature's Prophet and Ogre were sharing a lane, and then the Nature's Prophet spent some time in the jungle, and the Ogre got some value. And so in a way they're playing with 4 cores, which is something EG have always liked to do. Find a way for PvD to be like the only true support in the team.
Man, it's been working out for them so far this LAN, and this game, it seems to continue in that way, but LGD is certainly putting up a fight, maybe top of the net worth. Ether Lens now done. He has got that one out on his way. As you said, it's about what he's able to actually do with it against EG's lineup and the way that EG have been playing.
Yeah, but this is where he does actually get a lot more pick-off power now, because he's got that range on the Yules again. Again, that was one of the serious nerfs to Lina, the Yules range, and Ether Lens kind of fixes that. Is he going to be able to find the pick-off though? I'm not too sure. EG being very careful about what they're doing. And very often EG grouping up anyway, because they're the ones who want to go for objectives.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. They've got the strength and numbers there, the items that they've got. And this looks to be, yeah, they'll be able to defend this. They're not going to try and push this at the moment, LGD. MMY is he's kind of slowed down this game. He still had a good performance, but starting to struggle to find an opening onto the side of EG as the heroes do start to beef up. And yeah, there we go, Arteezy now with the completed helmet of the drums, the kilo and treads, 1200 gold. He's starting to look like a pretty scary target as well. And as the game kind of stagnates, still just sitting around that 3k lead for the side of EG in terms of gold, XP, nothing too notable. Bottom lane, been in onto Silent. There's your silence, and they did manage to catch him here. They caught him, and they got him.
Yeah,
Universe there with perfect silence.
And LGD, I feel like we're like sort of lulled into a false sense of security. They were like, oh, EG's just farming, we're going to keep farming. Farming game's good for us, but it was the timing that EG were waiting for, and the second they get that timing, they introduce it to the game. They say, here we go, here's a kill. And I think that's good thinking from EG to, even the way they were playing the game before, like not just all in push, occasionally they go for a tower, but slow pace of the game that allows LGDs to feel safe in their farming and then get punished for it.
Well, EG here with this smoke, they'll get a ward down, maybe an MMY aren't going to come around the corner, so they'll be saved. We'll see if EG to find anyone else, but it looks like LGD just playing very safely at the moment. DDC is sticking around with them at the bottom. Still in the fountain. dead, and RTK is just on the top line. So EG won't find any kills with the smoke. And looks like the ping's on Roshan, because Roshan, yeah, it's going to be up very, very shortly. So looks like that will be where we might see stuff start to kick off again after one of the teams got Roshan. I mean, if EG do go to it, as we've seen before, LGD, they can certainly find the Roshan bit pretty successfully.
Yeah, that's where maybe got all of his kills, actually.
Yeah.
It's kind of misleading. You see him at the top of the net worth, he's like 6'2". You think maybe he's like made some pickoffs or something. He hasn't made any pickoffs this game. He just got a bunch of kills the rush pit. And I think it remains a problem for LGD that to have a Lina this farmed, you want to be able to get value by getting pickoffs. But in order to get a pick, like, they don't want to get a pickoff which turns into a team fight. EG is going to thrive on that, and so they need to somehow find a way for Lina to isolate heroes where they're quite sure that they just are isolated. And it seems like they've just not found a single opportunity like that so far this game. And so what maybe he's done with his farm is he's farmed more, which is better than doing nothing. Right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, at least he's keeping up.
Yeah.
But
yeah, compensating for the situation that he's found himself in. You're seeing EG hanging around that pit. Universe still making the most of the map up here, and he's working towards that Aghanim. He's got Lincoln's now complete on Silo, so that little bit harder for Universe to catch out. And here we have going into the Roche pit. It looks like at the speed that they're doing it, they're not going to be able to do anything in return. MMY does throw in a stun, but EG, they're going to be able to get this Roche, and this time they won't lose a team fight off the back of it, at least not immediately. And they just will go the way here of Artur.
yeah, so this almost certainly means they go for tier 2s now. There's only 2 tier 2s left. They've got the Exorcism and they've got the Aegis. I wonder if LGD try and defend against them or just try and split up and get value. I mean, EG already probably going to have to go back and push out lanes before they group anyway. In fact, they smoke into their own jungle. So hoping to get a pick off before they push.
RTK seems to sense that something's up. Surges away, drums are popped up by the side of EG. They want to chase Sylar. Okay, they've caught him out. He's already waveformed and they'll burst him down. That's your Morphling gone. They'll hold the Dark Sea in place and move forward for more action as the silence gets laid down. The Universe teeping in as well to join the fun, and double kill for Peter Pan Dam.
Very interesting, because when RTK surged away from the camp, away from the smoke, I also felt like he had a sense something was up. But maybe it was just coincidence, because Sylar like waves at the creeps. Like maybe they disagreed about what's going on. Sylar didn't seem to think he was in danger, and boy was he wrong.
Bottom lane LGD were trying to use the space to find a tower, but the TP's coming through from EG again on the defensive. Keeping themselves on top here. Hastering's going to be spotted out. Do anything with that. Samir will take it. Not going to be ready to go and fight around in this jungle. In fact, they do need to be careful because there are 3 heroes around here. They will head towards the mid lane from the high ground.
And I think we're building up to the timing. I think that Samir and Artesia are both going to go for BKBs now. I think, in fact, no, actually, the Universe probably won't just because he's Nature's Prophet and you always go Ags on Nature's Prophet. But I think if we get the BKBs up sometime soon on Venge and DP, LGD have nothing. Like, they really have nothing to fight into that. Lina will build into Ags. That'll be one thing that goes through the BKB, but they're mostly spell damage. They've got a Witch Doctor ulti and a Laguna Blade. That's it.
We have tier 2 going down, and okay, Sylar, he's been caught out again. He did start to morph strength. Have they got enough to bring him down? Yes, they do. Again, this Morphling just getting caught out. The triple multicast down on RTK. Gets a nice vacuum wall, and there is a stun as well with the Death Board. In fact, Laguna, they'll burst down the Death Prophet. PPD falling under the tower. And Aegis has been popped, and there's your Life Strike. This is LGD again, turning this one around. Looking to find a third magnetized straight down onto Artur, and they'll get it. Kick forward, he shoots, he hits on point. Fear getting caught out by the stun. LGD getting themselves a 4th on the defense. And EG shown that they can't feel too confident in this game and they can't relax too much because LGD, they'll bite back and with some force as well, as that was a pretty huge swing there for the side of LGD.
It's such an interesting dynamic because EG probably think we killed Sylar, he's the Morphling, he's their game plan, he's dead, surely we can just be confident and go more. But actually, we've been talking about this all the time, the Morphling's not really in the game yet, so it's the least important hero to kill at the start of the fight in terms of like putting yourself in a strong position to win the fight. And so LGD are like, well fine, the heroes that actually do something right now, we're all still alive, you're overextending, and they punish EG for it. And I think it's important that EG remember that even though Morphling is kind of the main game plan for LGD, right now, at this stage of the game, he's not.
At this point, yeah, as you said, the rest of the lineup just can burst through the side of EG when they hit their skills, and yeah, maybe now if a completed Aghanim's done, it's scary for the side of EG. They've got to be careful, and we'll see the graph start to turn a little bit more back towards the side of LGD.
Well, that's completed Aghanims on Universe as well. So the creeps are going to be pushing towards the Radiant for the rest of the game. Once Nature's Prophet is Aghanims, it's kind of like, unless his team loses a fight or something, his side's just pushing always, and there's that. So it kind of starts to restrict your movement around the map. You can be in less places without the other team knowing where you are, which means EG are going to have more information. Speaking of information, they cloak their Ogre and their Oracle just behind the DP, so they just want to protect Sumail, who's very close to BKB, that BKB I was talking about. Vantage didn't actually go straight for it. It's first picked up the Manta. I'm pretty sure he will get the BKB next. But once the Prophet has the BKB, that's already a big step, because now Lina needs to save Laguna for this hero and this hero only, or they're just not taking it down.
Top lane. Oh, that's an illusion. Well, they get a train out of it nonetheless, and maybe with an Invis rune leading the way. See if EG stick around.
Radiant's top tower
Looks like after that they will back themselves off. Maybe he's going to still move in.
Well, they left the sentry on their way out, and maybe just not going quite into range of the sentry. But these teams, I mean, we were talking before this match, and honestly, I feel like from what I've seen so far, these are the two most promising teams in the entire tournament. And it shows like the way LGD bait them, and then EG know exactly when to go back. They drop the sentry, like they have a very good understanding of one another. It looks like right now.
It certainly does seem that way. As teams really finding the space Sylar now with the Ghost Scepter on top of Lincoln as he's looking to close in on that E-Blade. Top lane EG are still hanging around though. Very close to having the BKB, as you said, on their Prophet, so maybe wanting to hold on to getting that item done before really fully committing, but it looks like now they're ready to go. Ready to go. Here's they're moving on the top. LGD, they do have 4 on the side. They are ready to try and end this tier 2, and you've got Sylar, of course, really split pushing down the mid lane.
Yeah, I think EG have seen the Ghost Scepter, and they know they're on a timer before Ethereal Blade's up, and then the game becomes a lot more difficult for them.
Oh, okay, he gets the vacuum wall, but the stun was off point. The yours and then the swap out. So they're going to save the DP, the Laguna coming through, and now with the roll forward, Magnetize gets dropped, and this could be big because now Sylar turns out. They get the false promise out with the stun hitting 2. Light Strike Array onto the DP, and they'll burst her down with the Death Ward. RTK is going to look to give Fear the rundown. Has he got vacuum? No, still on cooldown, so he won't be able to cancel that TP. There's going to be a Light Strike onto PPD. Second kill over the side of LGD. Again, MMY with these stone kicks on point. Universe getting caught out, getting chased down. The vacuum there, bringing him back into the midst of the teams. Double kill for Sylar. And at this point, you got to think of the last 3 fights, LGD are winning them all.
Yeah, and EG again, maybe a little bit too confident. Prophet is pretty close to BKB. They could have waited.
Yeah, it was so close.
I think it's what I think they saw the Ghost Scepter on Morphling, and they're like, okay, that E-Blade's coming up soon, but the way it ended up working out, they've actually helped the E-Blade.
It's just given him a huge cash burst, yeah.
And it's actually, I think Sylar's going to get his E-Blade before Sumail gets his BKB now. He might even be able to use it on Sumail. That would be like an absolute disaster for EG if he can get a pick off on Sumail with his combo.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
The Morphling is starting to really ramp up in terms of scariness for the side of EG. To be very aware that this man is getting back items than he needs. Fear. Talking about items, he is halfway through his Aghanim Scepter, but at the same time, you want to try and keep ahead of this Morphling. And he's eyeing up DDC at the moment. The Universe back up in 6 seconds. Look for some action down it, but at the same time, Fear is kind of sandwiched because RTK is rotating around. Like get vision of him, Fear. Still kind of off the radar at this point.
RTK's got to know someone's been there though, because the camp was cleared and his team didn't clear it. So he starts the big camp and then he just runs away. And I actually think Fear's Ags is really big. Other than the BKBs, I think Fear's Ags is like maybe one of the biggest pickups for EG in this game. Because out of nowhere, that Ogre can just be winning fights. But we're checking out Sylar here, and he's considering sniping someone.
He is. E-Blade done, Invis rune on him. What can he find? And more big iron pickups. After these, it's just these constant team fights. You just look at heroes like DDC on the Witch Doctor, and he's got Aghanims done.
Oh, wow.
I mean, This is... At EG are already losing the majority of these kind of later team fights without these big items being on the side of LGD, so they're just only going to get harder and harder. Now with the smoker from LGD, they're going to be the ones this time looking to push for an engagement.
You know what, I spoke in the draft about how the teams are playing chicken and seeing who's going to be the one that commits to pushing and who's going to go for late game, and I think that's what we've seen in this game, that EG are maybe still not quite as comfortable pushing as being the defensive team, and LGD got to be the defensive team, and EG looked at some points out of place when they were pushing.
Oh, Samael walking up the hill straightly out of the game.
And that's the E-Blade introduced, and still no BKB for Samael, and that's what I was talking about. It's like... he was meant to get that BKB before the Ethereal Blade.
Yeah,
and
it's just that timing issue. The fact that they did look for that fight in the top lane, as we were saying, when he was about 500 gold away from the BKB, and ever since that keeps getting constantly offset. This is going to be a Roshan for LGD this time. EG going to be the ones that can't do anything about that.
LGD have turned a corner now.
GG's as well.
Like we've gotten past the point in the game where EG are going to win by just grouping up and pushing. EG now needs to outplay LGD. They need to split push, or they need to win fights, and their draft's capable of doing it. But it did feel like their big advantage over LGD's draft was that they could put a lot of pressure early on and push early on. And I think just the sort of like not very subtle group up, let's charge their base, that's not going to work for EG anymore. I don't think that's even in the cards.
I mean, are we at a point now where, obviously when Samael does get the BKB, it's going to be like, alright, suddenly the team fight's a lot easier for EG, or do you think LGD have got to the point where BKB on Samael doesn't mean that they can't necessarily kill him?
Yeah, I mean, BKB is going to make it very difficult for him to die. Like, of course you do have the Laguna Blade, which is maxed out with Aghanim Scepter, but the problem is that Morphling doesn't have to go for... I mean, it's bonus when Morphling kills Samael. Morphling's going to be able to kill someone. Right, it's going to be the Oracle, or it's going to be... Actually, I guess Ogre's pretty tanky, but like if LGD are able to just like burst someone down to start the fight between their Morphling, between their Lina, they're also threatening Darkseer jumping in if you like all show yourselves to help the person. I just think that fight is still difficult for EG to take. Like we get to the point where the BKBs are what they need to take the fight rather than what they need to guarantee they take objectives. I felt earlier on that once they hit BKBs, LGD wouldn't be able to do anything about them, and now I feel like they need the BKBs or they're in trouble.
Absolutely, now LGD really have turned this one around slowly but surely. Now they're the ones pressuring onto the high ground of EG, and well, let's see what EG's response is. Sylar just pounding away at these tier 3s in quick work of them.
Arteezy's got BKB, but Samael is still not there. Samael was far ahead of Arteezy in farming that BKB, so it tells you like what a shift the game's taken after they pushed that top lane and things didn't work out.
Radiant structures are fortified.
I think now GG's just playing safe. Poke at the side of EG on the bottom lane, then they just back up. Watch them TP out. MMY sticking around with DDC. Maybe seeing if anyone sticks around now. They're going to get themselves back to the side. Kind of maybe 3.6k gold now on his Lina. What does he need to get next, do you feel, against the line of EG? He's got a few options.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty difficult question. It's not clear to me that he needs a BKB. Like, the Ogre might make him think, I need a BKB because Ogre can just like keep you disabled forever once he has Ags. I don't think he wants to buy into Shadowblade because EG have just had sentries up all game everywhere, and that's like walking into your own death rather than getting pick off. He's also already got the Blink. So I guess it's more of like a big carry item, so the Hex or the Shivas, yeah. Something like that. I think for EG this game is like, Universe is the most important hero now. That's what I think. And he's got his Ags, he's building into the Octarine.
He's close as well.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that's EG's game plan now, to kind of frustrate LGD by having the map pushing all the time, have map control all the time, and eventually hope for a mistake, maybe win a fight or pick off, and then that's where you get the value. It's definitely not about the straight up just group and go.
Yeah, we saw exactly the global pressure kind of be the reason why LGD's pursuit on the bottom lane stops. You know, they were knocking on the tier 3, EG kind of turned up, LGD realised they couldn't take a fight, but then at the same time they couldn't really afford to sit around and wait for the next wave to push again, because their other waves were already pushed right back at their own base, thanks to this Nature's Prophet, as you're saying, so.
And this Witch Doctor heal did so much. Actually, the Nature's Prophet ulti like took everyone to half HP, and DDC just healed them all up, but look back anyway.
Hard saw, this goes to the straight up BKB and TP out there. Play it careful against these guys. MMY, it's yeah, he's a long way off any kind of dream of the Aghanims here, unfortunately, on his Earth Spirit. Sometimes we see him get a bit of an earlier leg up, but he's still a way off, and he's actually having to go for the Ghost Scepter here as well, opting to pick that up defensively here on this Earth Spirit.
Yeah, it's against the Death Prophets.
Yeah.
I guess partially also against the Venge. Like, the only serious spell damage is the Death Prophet spam and the Ogre. But Ogre, yeah, it's Nature's Prophet, I say, the most important hero for EG, but actually Ogre, like, coming in on maybe being the second most important when it comes to, like, having those fight-winning plays. And is he
just 500 away from it?
Pretty close,
just needs the last bit, yeah. So he is going to have that axe very, very shortly. For
and this is something that teams are not used to anymore, because it's a long time ago where
Ogre
was like
really
that.
Has been drafting there.
Yeah. So Ogre Axe can come out of nowhere and just destroy you in a fight, and I think that might be what EG look for, actually. And it's actually at Lincoln's on, maybe. So maybe it does anticipate the power of the Ogre, because you could still take it off with the long range swap on Venge. Also pretty good against the Orchid. And I guess another point is that depending on the situation, they could have double Lincolns on Sylar and then just really make him unstoppable.
Let's have a look. See if LGD can find anything this time on the top. We've got side here, hanging around in the jungle. EG. Cells avoiding it, and already just all these lanes. We see these treants just really going to work. RTK doing his best here with the Iron Shell. Push the lanes back out. Treants will focus the creeps, and Universe doing his best to maintain control of all lanes. And this is, at this point, I think, would you say LGD are in a stronger position, or do you think EG still are?
No, it's LGD are in a much stronger position, in my opinion.
Yeah, because of this, just because of the diamonds that they've now got in the heroes.
Yeah, and Sumail doesn't, I mean, Sumail was in such an awkward spot. Yeah. Like, originally when he started going for BKB, it was like, we're going to hit BKBs and then we're going to just win the game. And now, by the time he got BKB, it was out of necessity, and it's, BP, I mean, what is this BKB doing for him? It's like, making sure that he can be alive when there's a fight. It's not helping him to, like, scale, to keep farming, to get more items. If we look at his score, I'm pretty sure Sumail was 0-2 or 0-1. Then we saw him at, like, 5-2, and now look at him, he's at 5-6.
Yeah, he's really fallen back off.
It's like, it's not been the game, and again, it goes back to, like, this game needs to become about Universe for them. He's gonna have to push out the waves. That's gonna make it even harder for Sumail and for Arteezy to get that value. And it's just about how much, I mean, it's definitely a sign of a very mature team if the carrying can end up happening from, like, your support Ogre and your offlane Nature's Prophet, rather than your actual two very hardcore carry players in Sumail and Arteezy.
And again, at this point, I mean, LGD, they do seem to keep kind of moving around as this pack, trying to look for something in EG. At this point, they aren't giving it, they're playing a lot more carefully.
EG never wanted to play this game from behind. That's what I feel. Like, it was never part of the plan. They've got some tools to make it work. They're trying to make it work. But right now, they're not in a good mood. I don't think they're happy about where the game is.
EG again, coming around, but have we spotted out by the Trinity? MLY is going to go for the jump in. Going to go for the stun, and he will find it. And now, yeah, thanks to the Etherland setup, they'll get the stun. No, the BKB coming out of time, but the false promise is there. They'll try and turn, they'll try and fight EG. They get out the exorcism, and here we go. Sylar's already managed to clear out one. The death ward, look at TDC, look at it go. He will get cancelled here, but it's already a double kill here for Sylar. Sylar just walks it around at full health, and now it just turned for the right clicks onto Arteezy. Throws out the adapter strike. There'll be a buyback here from Sumail, but he's already used the exorcism. See what the plan is here from the man. I mean, Sylar just mantas off the silence. That was, I mean, triple kill for Sylar as he just cleans up Arteezy.
It's just a frustration, but it's, you know, it's like,
just, you're never going to do anything after you did exorcism. It's you buyback and silence. He's got a manta. It's, yeah.
No, I feel like there's frustration in that buyback, because it's not going to affect the outcome of the fight. And as I was saying early on, like, so now they have BKBs, so Sylar can't target them at the start. But you see, he went onto the backlines, went for the Oracle, burst him down immediately, came back and finished off the Death Prophet. And this is, honestly, I feel like if both teams play equally, if they both play quite well, that's the kind of fight we should expect to see over and over, except when the Ogre's getting very lucky and, like, smashing people with double multicast stuns. But that's also not what you want your plan to be. If you're EG, you don't want to be like, let's just hope we get lucky with multicast. They want to have more control over the game, but I don't know if you can see where they can get the control from. There's the Nature's Prophet, but as soon as a fight happens, the fact that you're pushing lanes with the tree is not really that important.
And in fact, after that fight, the swing just boom, straight up. LGD now with the biggest lead that's been had in this game, and XP-wise as well. They're just maintaining efficiency across the map in a much better fashion. It's starting to pay off, and off the back of fights like that, suddenly MMY, he's got the money for pretty much half the Aghanim Scepter, and you're just seeing these heroes getting scarier and scarier. EG certainly needs to formulate a plan, as it's ever since kind of about the 19-minute mark, the whole second half of this game, it's been slowly slipping away from them, and with Roshan up and LGD in the neighborhood, you're about to slip even further if LGD are able to have a go on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it time and time again, but EG wanted to have Oracle keeps DP alive, BKB keeps DP alive, so that DP can own people. And it's turned out to be like, keep DP alive just to stay alive.
And look at that, just jumping in from halfway across the map. RTZ will get the swap onto Samael. He says, you're the younger one, you pay for it. Samael will actually be able to live there, so the swap enabling them to both get out. And meanwhile, Sylar in the mid lane catches out the Natures. The rat is down.
And that's, as I've said many times, like, that's actually the most important hero on EG right now, so even though they don't get the pick off on Avenge, they don't kill the DP, get swapped in, they get the Nature's Profits, and that allows LGD to be like, okay, we're going to group up, we're going to go kill Rush. I'm pretty sure Rush is the next objective for them, and I don't see how EG contested at all.
This is very much just looking like LGD stepping up their game here, and EG still need to raise it. They've still got a chance, but I say that and then you do just look at the Morphling and you're like, I don't know how they're killing Sylan out at this point. Butterfly, no sign of an MKB on any of these cores, and not that they're going to really be wanting to build one either. And Roshan's going to be going the way of LGD here, along with the Cheese and the Aegis once again. Let's see if they do. Them two, yeah, Sylar, he'll take the Aegis, and RTK, he'll take himself the Cheese.
And here comes the push, and Nature's Prophet's going to spawn, but not be able to like push out all the waves that quickly. So I think LGD have this opportunity with the Aegis to, if they want, they can force the high ground fight. And if they do force that high ground fight, it's like EG have to win the fight. Like if EG lose a fight now at their high ground, that's basically it. We've seen that the DP, the buyback doesn't really help them much. She doesn't even have it up yet anyway. I mean, the play for EG to win a fight would actually be for RTZ to sacrifice himself and have the buyback. That's what I think. To like swap someone in deep.
Yes.
Try kill them and then buy us
pick
up.
off, yeah. Just yeah, it could be at this point.
But LGD actually not sure they want to force the high ground just yet. Nobody's gone back for RTZ yet either. So interesting. I guess they were maybe hoping to be read as if they had gone back and then EG would come out the base and they'd get a free kill.
And you just look at the two cores, it's got to be hard for RTs now on this Venge, just especially considering the deficiency in goal. And as you said, you're not going to win a standard fight against this Morphling. You've got to use your swap to the best ability when they're pushing on the high ground, which is going to kind of rely on LGD being caught off guard. And the last 20 minutes of this game are going to be anything to go by. It'll be a pretty unlikely situation here for the lads on the side of the Radiant.
So Sylar's got travels now, very very important item actually, because he can push a wave on his own. Nature's Prophet can't come push against him, he'll die. If they try to gank him, then EG are taking the risk that they get into a team fight, they don't want to. So it means the Morphling can probably safely push the lane and then join the team in another lane if it wants to. But there's a lot more control for LGD with the boots of travel actually.
Shiva's now on Darkseer, so even more to offer when these pushes do come through and they do try and break the base. EG at this point just sticking up high. I mean, Death Prophet herself, Samael, he is starting to rack the gold up now on top of the BKB. I mean, are we at a point where EG really do need to, as a team, just kind of collectively make sure that they do have buybacks available, or do you feel they just need to go in all on the items and Samael will probably pick someone else up here?
No, I don't know, because he's Death Prophet, maybe he won't save. Just
yeah, because buybacks, yeah, but if you use the exorcism, you're not really buying back to do anything.
But other than that, I feel like the rest of EG will want to save buybacks. I think definitely Universal and TZ will.
Now let's see. And Artor, yeah, throws out the wave of Terra, TP's out straight away before LGD sniff him out. Mid lane, Sylar. E-blading Mr. RTZ, keeping him pressured back into the base. LGD then managed to get this bottom lane started to push around as well, so all three lanes being controlled by LGD.
Yeah, and doing what honestly with their organization, the LGD, it like transcends this current team. Like for years, they've been known for being meticulous in controlling the late game, taking control of the map. That's what they're doing, recognizing that there's actually not that much pressure on them. If the Nature's Prophet is not split pushing the map out, then EG don't really have a game plan right now. So as much as I asked the question, you know, why LGD have Aegis, why didn't they go in? They don't have to. They can sit on this for a while. TZ, he's in trouble. He's gonna have to BKB because he doesn't have a TP.
Oh, you're right as well. Oh,
Dire's bottom
RTZ.
tower is under attack.
Oh, it worked. Tyler gives up.
Radiant's
Feels
bottom
that he can't
tower
chase that
is
one
under
down, so
attack.
RTZ lucky to get away with his life there. We'll be able to make the long, slow, shameful walk back to base.
Swapping the illusion. So is that because, did he swap the replicate illusion? I don't think you can swap your own regular illusions, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he swapped the Morphling one.
Yeah.
I think you're right, yeah. He kind of gamed around Sylar there. The turnabout Sylar, he doesn't care about not getting the kill. He's focused on the objectives, nearly getting bursted down, but yeah, and he's fine. They've got Greaves on the side, he's been glimmer caped up as well. They just can't kill this Morphling with that burst. They need more control.
And he still has Aegis, so even if they kill him that one time, he's up again. He's even got gold to buy back and TP in, so potentially 3 lives Morphling. That's why I said, like, LGD don't have to go for the high ground because they're starving EG anyway. But if they wanted to go for the high ground, they're already very, very favored with the triple life Morphling. And EG, just like, I mean, psychologically, mentally, I feel like it's difficult for EG to stay together in this kind of position because you know that the enemy team has like all the cards in their hand and gets to decide what happens.
Yeah, they're just so much stronger at this point. The net worth's really ticking in now, you know, we're closing in on a 20k lead. It's about halfway between 15 and the 20 hit. Aegis now gone. Aghanims is done here for MMY on the Earth Spirit, so the hero is even more scarier here, and the save potential even bigger. I mean, I really don't see Sylar dying again before the end of this game unless huge mistakes are made by LGD, because it's got to be huge mistakes for this guy to die now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, BKB is like even better than Aegis. So Aegis ran out, he bought BKB, and like, that's, yeah, if he forgets to use his BKB and his Mancer,
Yes.
he just doesn't press any of his buttons, or that would be very costly, but it's possible for EG to do like an amazing. Earlier on, there was a play EG made where they had a Venge and an Enigma, and they like started black holing the ground and then swapped Puck in, so he was in the black hole straight away.
Okay.
That kind of cool play, like you could catch the Morphling and perma disable it, like long range swap to take off Linkens, and then Ogre's permanently stunning because he gets lucky. Maybe that's even then. You need the silence as well to stop the Morph, and the Morphling has to be on his own.
Yeah, and then he's got the Manta and BKB if you don't initially burst him, so he's got ways to remove the control.
But we can beat around the bush all day. That like this is probably LGD's game to throw at this point. I feel like, barring EG making like magnificently huge plays, LGD are like very, very far ahead now.
No, this is, I think, so far from the games we've seen from LGD this tournament, it's kind of like, hey, you got to remember these guys didn't get a direct invite to the major, and here they are, kind of showing
Universe
us crazy stuff, and yeah, that's a false promise him up here. They should be fine with the fountain regen. That's a lot of fire. Ow! This is a close one.
Yeah, very important that PPD TP'd back with him to heal him, otherwise he would have died.
He would have popped. He would have popped. PPD.
But yeah, LGD can just wait. I mean, they're playing it safe. They're not making any overcommitments. If they want, they'll get the next rush. They, you know, every now and then they go poke the towers a bit. Every now and then they farm all the map. Again, this is a Nature's Prophet with Aghanim Scepter, who's being pushed in all 3 lanes. Which is honestly, earlier on there was a game. I think it was the Na'Vi Fnatic game where Nature's Prophet Aghanim has managed to keep all the lanes pushed against Mega Creeps. So that's how strong
it is. Yeah.
And yet, LGD have that much control that they're just like laughing off the Nature's Prophet Aghanims.
A lot of patience here really from LGD. We're not really seeing them try anything too brash in terms of just fighting onto the high ground. I want to wait for the opportune moment, and at the moment I think they're just kind of still seeing if EG want to try and make a play themselves, and LGD are going to be ready to try and turn it around.
Did we see the MMY Ags?
Yes, the EG got it only just a few minutes ago, but we've not really seen him use it. He's not had a chance to fight.
The plays can be made.
Anyone.
He can pull them out of the base and just like...
I mean, that's the thing now, yeah, you talked about the way of catching Sylar out, the repositioning. Well, you got MMY, he's just going to reposition him with the Ags. It's going to be even harder really for EG to try and use their heroes to their strength. slightly coming out of the base, but they still need to be just so careful.
You can see them each time. Like EG are like, they're frustrated. They don't want to just stand around doing nothing, but they go a bit out and then they're like, actually, we can't really go, can we? Gotta go back.
Universe, yeah, he's got the bling. And ROTK has got a vacuum, and he's going to find him. Universe in a bit of trouble. Set up with yours, maybe does a quick 360 into the Laguna Blade. Light Strike comes through, clearing the trees out. They'll get the kill. Nation's Prophet down for 75 seconds. So that's their pickoff. That might be the thing to lead in. I mean, you got to remember that EG were kind of defending without the Nature's Prophet anyway, as he was just looking to split push. But now that they know there's not that pressure there, LGD might feel a bit more comfortable to go for something.
Yeah, and he's got the buyback, but they'll definitely want to at very least force the Nature's Prophet buyback. And quite importantly, the Venge doesn't have the buyback, so that play we were talking about earlier where you swap in Suicide, buyback, can't actually happen.
The rack starts to fall. There's your buyback. Maybe moves forward. Looks for a light strike. Won't find it. BKB pop by RTZ. Will drop down Magic Missile. And here comes the Exorcism from Samael. They're going to look to start from 5 with Salah just sitting there, pounding away at Samael. Deathball gets laid down as well. They've just got to get themselves away from the CG. They've got nothing to cancel it. MMI rolling forward. They can almost appear on the Death Prophet, but PPD and Samael falling pretty low. The Spirit Cycle will keep it alive with the blink. Oh! The false promise coming through in time, keeping Samael alive. He's got a heal though, and he will. He'll turn around, get the kill onto Baby. PPD desperately healing him up, and he's going to be fine. Samael is saved. Great save there from PPD. And EG do hold the base for the time being. Let's see if they can move forward for more. No, he's just flying out onto Illusion here. It's going to continue to chase and find him. You realize now that it's not a real Witch Doctor, it's a phony. They do defend, they get themselves a kill. Top lane, Salah just trying to get a bit of split push action done. But yeah, some really nice play there from PPD that fight, saving Samael's ass.
Completely agree. And before that, he actually saved his own ass. And I'm not sure if we put this on PPD or on Sylar, but Sylar tried to use his combo on PPD, and PPD put Fate's Edict on himself. So Adaptive Strike just did nothing.
Yeah.
And so you could think Sylar could go for someone else. Obviously, he's been targeting the Oracle, so the Oracle can't save other people. But as a result of using spells on the Fate's Edicted hero, I feel like that allowed PPD to then stay alive, save Samael as well.
Yeah.
So on both players, it's PPD who gets credit, at least if we're looking at EG. And now it looks like EG are smoking up, wanting to. This is when you're in a game like this where you're so crippled. Often what you need to do is after you get like one punch in, just try and get another one in.
Now they are smoking into a team that has just picked up refreshers on Darkseer, so we might see some very flashy stuff coming out from RTK if EG do try and force this. PPD moving up to the high ground. Salah, he did BKB here, and I'm going to kick off for the time being. EG really looking to storm forward into this one. But yeah, if RTK could do something flashy with that refreshers, he's been spotted out now. See if they notice. It's going to be okay.
Tense moment there where EG could actually suddenly get a lot in the game, and I think it's smart of LGD to pull back, especially after the BKB is used.
Haste.
And off they go, and out they go. EG and Universe here pushing in the top, and now still showing us that they can still find the momentum to push back down, but they're doing it with, I mean, they're so far behind in terms of farm, 25k nearly.
EG are trying to kill Sylar. This is going to be very tough.
Right,
they're all 5 though.
Going for the raid boss, let's try it, and they'll jump in, but out he goes. Game over.
And he
mission failed.
Came straight back in. They're all coming in. The LGD.
There's one more drop down here, but they won't actually be held back by this. The Shivas as well, not quite catching them. MMY on the Earth Spirit moving forward. Ogre turn to stone. They'll pop the Exorcism, looking to fight BKB, but look at the right click from Sylar, ripping through the side of EG. Double kill here for the Morphling. The Death Ball forces the rest of them back, and they'll move forward for more. The vacuum right strike wall gets dropped. Fear's going to go down. Laguna onto RTZ. RTK's there with the punches. The Iron Shell, he falls as well. Double kill for the Darkseer. RTK there with a second wall on the chase down, doing it against the side of EG. They do have buybacks available on RTZ and Samael. Already brought back on PPD, but that was a pretty painful fight. Looking for a bit of rat action, but Sylar's down on the defense. They're going to be fine in that lane. And in mid lane, the melee Rex is already down, and LGD they're looking for a second. Here are your buybacks. Got to do something big. Fortune's in. Now to clip onto RTK, Sylar, straight forward and looking to maybe burst down PPD, but he's got the Fate's Edict. He's going to be okay. Silence onto Sylar, Rod of Atos as well. That's your melee Rack's got range racks as well. Look at the full set here on the bottom. Sylar, he just does not care, not scared at all. And this is a Morphling walking around at pretty much 12k net worth. 12k gold in the bank, 38k net worth on him. And the graph just going to go even higher after that one, and EG will still try and hold on. But LGD, they're just slowly brutalizing them.
Sila's about to be at 40k net worth. EG, their entire team is at 80k. So he's half their team on his own. That's
Sylar Morphling. He's really bringing it to this LAN. We saw him. This is the second game he's done it, and both games have been pretty much repeat performances.
He's just eaten up some of his net worth by eating a moonshot. Misleading, but EG get a rush. That's like
a sneak it, and they get the swap onto RTK. Silence down as well. Paralyzed getting cast from the high ground, and Sylar just pounding away at Beer. Beer evaporating. Will turn around, try to get the stun. Just get it light strike on PPD, but PPD, he's got a rush because Laguna is for the rest of the team, and PPD's being separated from his teammates. There'll be a silence on Turn 1, but he got the roll out in time, and he'll be now turning towards PPD, heads into the pit. Baits Edict himself, looks for the heal out, yet at the same time you've got Sylar chasing down Arteezy. On the right, you've got a stun and a silencer onto Death Prophet. The cast bouncing between them. Universe is going to go down. Stamail all on his own here. 3 dead, make that 4. GG is called, and straight out of the game, Artor's done. He is out of this. He's had enough of LGD, and LGD, this game, stepping it up and showing us why they are the team to watch this LAN.
Yeah, and this was their game for a really long time. They played it slowly and meticulously, made sure like they gave EG the respect they deserve. Doesn't matter that they had that much control. They, just one step at a time. And I honestly, I think if EG look back at this game, they're gonna look at that one rush where LGD just like we didn't see how, but somehow LGD knew. They came in, they stopped the because that was where EG still had momentum. They could still do the 5-man push long before Morphling would have anything. Everything after that point, I feel like it's just going according to LGD's plan, and then also